Hello, vinyl community. This is Mike with TCAT's Deep Vinyl Tracks here with Norman, and we are going to do a couple of contests today, contest responses, and well, not all necessarily contests. There's also some threads here, and I hope none of the people that hosted or started these threads are going to mind that I'm going to try to do them to get three of them together. But I figured that's the best way to do them all in one shot. So, first of all, I want to start out with the contest that's sponsored by What the Gym. This is a Christmas themed contest where he asks five questions having to do with Christmas. And the deadline for this is January 2nd, 2023. And the first thing you need to do is go subscribe to his channel. Now, I'm going to leave a link down in the description down below so you can easily get to the concert announcement video. Go over there, sign up for his channel, and just by hitting the subscribe button. He's got some interesting content on there. He talks about music, he talks about videos, very, very well, very knowledgeable about what he talks about, and also features other things like that. So go over and check out his channel. Some really nice stuff there. So the first thing he wanted us to do is show a Christmas themed video. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any DVDs or any movies at all in a physical format in my collection. But I will say one of my favorite Christmas themed videos was A Christmas Story. I know that's a favorite of a lot of people. I actually liked that movie before it was really popular, and thought it was quite clever how it was all done and everything. So Christmas Story would be my favorite Christmas themed video. As far as a Christmas or a snowy album cover is the second thing that he asks us to do. And I will show one of my favorite Christmas records. It's by Mannheim Steamroller. This is their second Christmas album, and it's called Fresh Air Christmas by Chip Davis. I really love this one, even though it's their second one. I know a lot of people are big fans of their first Christmas album, and it's probably the most popular, but I think this one is so much better. It's got a better variety on it. Got some very nice arrangements done by the band. Little Drummer Boy is just fantastic, very upbeat and nice rendition of that, and it gives it a whole different meaning. Still, one of my favorite Christmas songs ever. It's done by a boys' choir and another choir, mostly a cappella, but there's some instrumentation behind it. But oh man, it just gives you that feeling of sitting in a warm house and looking out the window and watching the snow softly falling. Just the perfect peaceful song. Carol of the Bells, they got a really nice rendition, kind of a rocking rendition of that. Cantique de Noël or O Holy Night, their version of that is just beautiful. Highly recommend this Christmas album even more than their first one. So Mannheim Steamroller, Fresh Air Christmas. The next question he asks is asks us to tell about a favorite Christmas song and why it's our favorite. I think one of my favorite Christmas songs is fairly traditional. It's called O Holy Night. Just love that song. I think it captures the joy and passion of the season more than anything else, more than any other song out there. It's just an amazing song, and it always seems like every version of it that I've heard just has that wonderful spirit to it. The next question is what you want for Christmas and why. I think the thing, it's kind of a hard question actually. It takes me a while to think about that. Of course, the one thing I want more than anything else personally would be records, vinyl. But I think one of the main things I would be like to see for Christmas is more of an understanding among people, more of an acceptance, and an empathy for other people. I think among everyone would be a great thing. You know, there's this saying about knowing you don't know what it's like unless you've lived in their shoes. Maybe we should all try to live in their shoes and remember that every individual is so different, and it's all based upon whatever background or whatever experiences they've had in their past. All those kind of things make every individual unique, and we all need to remember that. So understanding and empathy would be one of the things I'd want for Christmas for everybody. Number 6, your favorite thing of Christmas. One of the things I love about the Christmas season is the different community events that go on, the spirit of Christmas that's going on when people are like walking through a park filled up with Christmas lights and decorations. Community events where people have Christmas shows or plays that they go to, sometimes outdoors, sometimes indoors. I just love the feeling of those things. And I also love soft and quiet, snowy nights. Like I explained when I was talking about the song Still, Still, Still. I just love that feeling of watching snow fall on a quiet night. Usually when I'm inside, I will admit that. So anyway, that's the Christmas themed contest that What the Gym channel is putting on right now. Go over and subscribe, and everybody's welcome to do a response to that contest. The prize for that contest is a $30 donation to a charity of your choice. So, really good reason to go out there and participate in this contest. So, the next contest is for the channel Vinyl Martini, and what he's doing over there. His name is Jack, by the way. He's doing a push to 200 subs. The deadline for this is December 14th. And what he wants us to show is like 3 to 5 records that show someone that recorded a solo album while they were still in a band. So the band was also recording albums, but they broke away and did their own solo album, and then came back for the band's album. They never really got kicked out or left the band. They just did their own solo album. And he's donating $100 to a local food bank. I think that's really a great thing to be giving money to, especially this time of year. There's a lot of people out there that don't have all the things they need, or may not have a happy Christmas. So I think one of the best things we can do is try to help other people and donate to causes like this. A perfect cause to a food bank. So anyway, the 5 records I'm going to show, first of all, is Paper Wheels by Trey Anastasio, who is the guitarist and lead singer for the band Fish. Fish has put out quite a few albums, but Trey Anastasio has also put out several albums. This is one of them, called Paper Wheels, and it's a die-cut cover. I don't have these in the front because I've taken them out, of course, to preserve them better. But this is a great album by Trey Anastasio. Great songwriter, great musician, and I always enjoy to hear his music. Number 2, from The Who, is Pete Townshend. I think a lot of people out there have this album. I've got a few Pete Townshend albums. This one is probably my favorite out of all of his, called White City. Sort of a concept album. There's a story behind it and everything. You can read about it on the back cover. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but it's a great album. If you haven't heard it already, this is one I would highly recommend. Coming from the band Roxy Music, this is Phil Manzanera, guitarist from Roxy Music. This is his album Guitarissimo, which is actually, this is an import, but it collects together some different songs off of 5 of his solo albums: Diamond Head, 801 Live, Listen Now, K-Scope, and Primitive Guitars. This is a great collection. If you haven't heard any of his solo albums, I highly recommend his jazz fusion style. A lot of variety to his music. He has a lot of guests on this, including Brian Eno, Godley and Cream are both on this from 10cc. You got John Wetton on here doing some vocals and bass. A lot of different artists appear on this particular record, so highly recommended. Now, Brian from Embryonic Robot stole one of the people that I was going to feature on this, and that was Adrian Belew from King Crimson. So I'll stay with the King Crimson theme and go with Robert Fripp. This is one of Robert Fripp's solo albums. This one has to do with his way of recording guitar sounds. Frippotonics is what it's called, and this is basically, it's always sold as one entire album, but it's basically divided up into 2 parts, 2 EPs, if you will. And it's, one side is God Save the Queen, the other side is called Under Heavy Manners. I can never remember the name of it. There's the other side. So it's all, one side takes up one album, the other side takes up the other album. And so what you got here is one side is all basically Frippertronic tracks, just him playing his guitar with the tape loop device that he uses to create different atmospheres in that. The other side features David Byrne from the Talking Heads singing on one song, and the other song is Frippertonics again, but this time with the rhythm section. So it kind of gives a feeling of how Robert Fripp intended to have his Frippertonics used in popular music. So interesting album, especially if you like the strange experimental style of Robert Fripp. No vocals except for one where David Byrne sings. Everything else is mostly guitar. Number 5, we have from the band My Morning Jacket, Jim James. Jim James has been involved with a lot of different projects, but My Morning Jacket is his main band, but he's done a few solo albums. This solo album is called Regions of Light and Sound of God. Kind of a interesting and long title. I don't like Jim James' solo material as much as I like it with My Morning Jacket, but the interesting thing about this music is he uses a lot more electronics and in his music, and he sings on all of his tracks on top of that. So it's not My Morning Jacket, it's a completely different sound from them. So I think a lot of people get disappointed because they expect it to sound like My Morning Jacket, but it's interesting music. And I've always liked Jim James. He's a great musician, excellent songwriter. So Jim James. Alright, so that's for Vinyl Martini. Go over and subscribe to his channel. I really like his content. Real pleasant demeanor. Very enjoyable He's got some very enjoyable videos over there. If you haven't signed up to his, help him out. He's coming, kind of hovering around 200 subs right now, so go over there and sub him up, give him some followers. He's a great person, great channel. Last but certainly not least, I want to talk about a thread from Aquatic Records with Captain Ron. He's actually been with the vinyl community for quite a while. He changes the name of his channel every once in a while, but still has great content, shows some great records. It's always fun to see what he's got and what his comments are. He tends to like a lot of the harder rock and heavy metal music, but got some very good content, and will tell you a lot of stuff about bands you probably never heard of. Again, that's the current name of the channel is Aquatic Records with Captain Ron. So what he wants us to do for his thread was to show 5 records that you initially hated that you love now. So that's what I'm going to do. Go over and check out his video so you can get a better idea, but I'm going to show 5 records, and they're not necessarily records, but some of them are also artists that I really couldn't stand in the beginning. So I'm going to start out with, this is a CD, the Gorillaz. I ran I don't know what you call it other than a entertainment superstore back in the 2000s, and this is one of the albums that came out during that time, Demon Days. I remember hearing Gorillaz before that, and I didn't really like them that much. But when this album came out, they played it in the store a lot. I really grew to like this album. Now this has a different cover than what the regular Demon Days does, just because this is a special edition that I found. But really got some, this is the album that really got me into the band. There's a lot of variety in their music, a lot of ingenuity. Yes, it's a made-up band, cartoon characters, but that doesn't matter. The music is just awesome. Highly recommend them if you haven't heard them. This is one of my favorite, see how that folds out, one of my favorite albums from them, Demon Days. And the reason why is it's very original, the way they present their music and everything. I think it's just great. This is the book that comes with it. Got some really nice animation. It's got the words to the songs. I'm not going to go into much more detail. There's a lot I could say about this band, but grew to love them through the album Demon Days, Gorillaz. Number 2, Bob Dylan was another artist that I just couldn't stand. Now I've collected almost all of his records. I enjoy his music. I absolutely love him. And that's probably happened in the last 10 years that I grew to really love Bob Dylan's music. I'm going to show Nashville Skyline as a representative of all of his albums. Couldn't stand his music. I absolutely love this album now. Love his duet with Johnny Cash on this. All the songs on this are really great. The duet is called Girl from the North Country, and there's Peggy Day is also on this. Lay Lady Lay. Tonight I'll Be Staying. Just some great music by Bob Dylan, and I absolutely love his music now. Take anything by him. This one's a more recent one. Never was really a fan of Carly Simon, and just this past year I picked up this album because it was inexpensive. One of the songs on here that I heard before that I really liked, so just because it was cheap I picked it up, put this record on, and I didn't realize until just recently how much I love this music. Not so sure about her other albums, but I can tell you, I did not appreciate or like this album in the beginning. Now I really love it, and it's going to be a keeper. Another band. This one comes from the 80s. Band called Cock Robin. Don't hear too much about these guys in the vinyl community. I don't know why. They're two lead singers. I'm not too up on their names or anything. There's a male and a female singer here. They kind of trade off on songs, but also do harmonies with each other, kind of like duets almost. I have to admit, there's a picture of the entire band. I have to admit, I did not like this at all when I first heard it, but it got played a lot when I worked at the record bar back in the 80s. That's when it came out. And the song When Your Heart Is Weak was their big hit off of this album. I thought it was an okay song. It was nothing that I really paid much attention to, but let me tell you, the male lead singer on this has got such an amazing voice. I don't know how I didn't like it before, but now the songs are stuck in my head and I never get tired of hearing this. Great songs on here. Thought You Were on My Side, The Promise You Made, Just When You Were Having Fun, Born with Teeth, Once We Might Have Known. Some slow songs and some really surprisingly upbeat songs on this. Highly recommend this one. If you see this, pick it up. Not sure you'll like it at first, but give it a chance. And really listen to the male lead singer's voice. His vocals on this are just amazing. So, Cock Robin. Number 5. That is 5, I think. Gentle Giant. Not a band I really liked very much. Even though I love progressive music, I just thought this was too scattered to be anything I would ever love. Then I started listening to the single that come off of this, which is, I think it's the title song, Free Hand. I heard it I heard it somewhere and I thought, wow, that's really neat now that I sit down and listen to it, or really listen to it. Grabbed this album and fell in love with it right away. I've been hearing their other albums and been searching frantically to get them. They're a little harder to find now, but really grown to love this band. So Gentle Giant took a lot of getting used to it, but it's really grown on me now that they've become one of my all-time favorites. So this is Free Hand, one of their best albums, but they've got a lot of great albums. So there you have it. Go over and check out Ron's channel, Aquatic Records with Captain Ron. Sub him up. Get him some subscribers. He's got some great stuff. And all three of these people, all three of these VC members are great, have great channels, and I'll leave links to them, like I said. So thank you for watching this. Probably ran a little longer than I hoped, but I wanted to knock out 3 at the same time, and we'll see what happens. So thank you. I hope everybody's okay with me doing that. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you all later.